not placing blame anywhere, just simply saying that we normally would have the information in front of our face, right? We'll normally have the information in front of our face, say the right thing, and then for some reason at one point it just goes to the wrong direction. How and why, I don't know. Because it's like you're saying it, you're saying it, you're saying it, but then you come up with this answer. How? But listen to it and tell me what y'all think in the comments.
Women are waking up to the reality of men, and a lot of women are referring to themselves as misandrous, and they're talking about decentering men. So I'm going to share something with you as someone who figured out this whole scam when I was 9 years old. And it wasn't because anyone around me taught me. I was not exposed to feminism at a young age. It was straight up just observation, logic, and intuition that I was just like, that marriage situation seems like a scam to me. And mind you, I was raised in an environment where I was primed specifically to become a very, very, very subservient and subjugated wife, okay? But I was 9 years old. My parents had the scared straight version of marriage. And I was like, nah, I'm good. That looks like...
Yeah, because the way you said it, if you think about it, the other route is being masculine. It's like, I don't see how women think submission. Yes, you're saying it the right way, but submission doesn't really look like that. That's just a bad version of submission, because both people submit to each other's will when they get together. And all you legitimately have to do is make sure that the person's will you're submitting to, that you're okay with. But that's just me. I could be thinking too much.
Too much compromise. That looks like women have to give away too much for what? That doesn't look like a lot of payback to me.
Both people give up. Just because you don't see what he's doing doesn't mean he's not giving up something. That's like, just because you don't see it doesn't mean he's not giving up something. Both parties are giving up something. Does it seem unfair? Definitely it seems unfair. But what in life is actually fair, really? Like what?
So I simply did not really ever care about marriage or dating or anything like that, because I was like, I just don't see the benefit to it. I don't see what I would get out of this. Like, it seems pretty miserable. And I left myself open to the idea that my parents weren't the best example and that I could learn from other people's relationships. So I asked a lot of questions of widows, of women who had been divorced, of women in great relationships. And I always heard the same thing. A woman is fine on her own. You don't need a man. You don't need a man to be taken care of, telling you what to do. And even the happiest women would tell me, he's great, I love him, but I could have done this with my kid by myself.
So you're saying men is the main problem of this whole scenario, right? The main problem of this whole scenario when you ask women. Like how you broke this code at 9 years old asking women. Like, if you are logical as you saying, you would understand how much women want control. And like, if you're not doing exactly what they're saying, then yes. And after a little while of trying to put up, trying to please, yes, you will end up in those situations where you feel like marriage is not going to end happy. Both of you have to coexist in a mutual ground. And that mutual ground is not going to look perfect. Like, I keep trying to tell you, you can't go for perfect. Like, you can't. There's no way possible for you to get perfect, but every woman has the best relationship. The guy can't do nothing that, come on, like, grow up. And you older than me.
Even the happiest women told me things like that. So by the time I was in my early 20s, I already knew, like, okay, I figured this out at 9, but even watching people where I see that they're in a great relationship, they're telling me the same thing. These women are telling me the same thing. So I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything. And don't get me wrong, like, I got involved with guys here and there, like situationships. I never really claimed anyone publicly or anything like that. But I was always aware in my head that I would get involved with people where I knew that it wasn't going to work out. And for a period of time, I thought that maybe there was something wrong with me, that I was doing that. And sure, that was like a sense of self-preservation, right? And I played out a lot of toxic conditioning and healed things because of those situations that I was in, without like publicly putting myself in a position to let a man humiliate me. But ultimately now, looking back at the age of 42, I'm glad that's the way that it played out, that I never got into...
So instead of gaining more knowledge, right? Instead of gaining more knowledge, more comprehension between the guys, and actually differentiating who to pick, you just said, no, I'm going to just exhibit this toxic behavior. And then when I realize it, I'm not going to change it. I'm going to just say, hey, yeah, I did it, and now I don't have to do it anymore. It's like, that shit don't make sense. If y'all think it makes sense, please leave me a comment.
Some crazy long drawn out relationship, got pregnant, got married or anything like that. Because ultimately, what was I going to get? What was going to happen for me? What was going to happen for me? I wouldn't be in a good place if I had committed myself and given my life up to a man like that. So I don't regret it. But here's another thing. I don't hate men. I do not hate men. It is a waste of energy to hate men. And I know that that's a difficult thing to come to, because especially if you've experienced a lot of trauma from men, if you've experienced betrayal, if you have, a father who wasn't really the best for you, or men in your family who just were not the best for you. I know it's difficult not to hate them. But here's the thing.
So you're saying it, but then you're not saying it. You're saying, hey, yes, there are bad men. But then you're also saying, no, all of them are bad. You're inadvertently saying it. At least to me, you are. I would never claim to say you're saying that thing, but to me, that's what it sounds like. So I don't hate them, but these guys do bad things.
That energy is best expended on yourself. So the goal is not to become a misandrist, to hate them, to want to get back at them. The goal is to become so detached that you could do with or without them. And that doesn't mean that you're never going to feel anything. It doesn't mean that you're never going to love someone. It doesn't mean that you're never going to care for someone. It just means that if push comes to shove, you can live without them because you're whole on your own. And you love yourself so much and you enjoy your own company so much that you can have someone enter your life and exit, or not have anyone enter your life at all. So I just want you to consider that. And
this, I won't consider it. This is the mindset of, I don't need nobody. So whenever somebody comes into your life, that not needing is not gonna be good, because yes, people want to see you do your thing. Yes, people want you to be self-sufficient. Nobody wants to be in a relationship where somebody always says, I don't need you. No, nobody's gonna want to be in that type of relationship. And the guy version of that would look like a guy just using his money over you. So if that's what you want, that's what you want. But don't sit here and try to teach people this type of rhetoric because this is wrong. Just because that's your experience, cool. You decided to do that. Let other people make their own choices. And you are absolutely right about expending the energy in the wrong way, because I don't know why they hate us though. I personally don't do that, but I can't speak for every man. I could only speak for me.
You might have to go through a process of anger and of sadness and that kind of thing and grieving. But ultimately, the goal is detachment, not apathy, not resentment or anything like that. Just take it or leave it. It isn't what I thought it was going to be. We were fed all of these delusions about, fairy tales and all of this stuff about being a wife and being a mother. And realistically speaking, if we were to view ourselves more like animals, we would have a better perspective of what a man is.
She said it, I didn't, and men are not animals, because if that was the case, it would be worse than you're talking about. It would be worse than you're talking about. Don't you understand? And matter of fact, I'm gonna shut up. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments.
Men are the way that they are because they were raised by single moms. As a divorce lawyer, I've heard this line more times than I can count. When I make a generalization about men will...
Look how the blame gets shifted, because if we're being honest about the situation, women have been raising men for a while. Some of them still turn out to be better, but the sole proprietor of that house was a woman. The only ones that turned out to be better had uncles, cousins, boys around. But the boys who got solely raised by their mothers with no men around, you can tell. But we'll listen to you. I'll listen to you.
Will flood my comments with, well, guess who raised them? Their mothers. Every time I hear this, I want to ask, who exactly are we blaming here? The women who stayed and raised them, or the men who left and never looked back?
So now every man left and never looked back. None of them went through bad situations with women where they can't even be allowed to teach their kids their version of right and wrong. Like, they just left. All of them left and never looked back. Really, y'all really gotta... And they be listening to this shit. This shit is fucking weird. They listening to it. Loving it. It's like, yeah, you're right. They turned and never looked. How? You're talking about a child that don't know no better. That's what you're talking about. A kid, 17, 18, 19. That's what you're talking about. Because you're not telling me grown men who legitimately sat there and had a kid, at least 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, is just up and just walking. No, ma'am. No, you're talking about children. That is a small instance in the larger game. Yes, there could be guys even my age doing it. but not all of them. They're all not just turning their back and leaving for no reason. These women are fucked up sometimes. We don't know it, and then what about the postpartum thing? No, after you get and then you magically change. But I'm talking crazy.
Single moms didn't break the boys, they saved them. They showed up, kept the lights on, did the homework, managed emotions, and taught them to navigate a world that rarely shows women grace and never shows mothers a break. It's not single mothers creating.
Y'all don't have the grace that you're saying that you don't have. Why are you able to do things like call the cops with no evidence, say this guy did something to me, and before they even fully check it out, you remember that guy? He was like a month ago. The lady said she tried to grab his kid and all he did was ask for pills. Right. If that's the case, how are you not more privileged than us? Because we can call to say some shit. Oh, They're probably gonna laugh at us. Come into the situation, probably talk to the woman first. If she's not belligerent, like if she's not in there yelling, definitely talking to her first before they talk to the person that actually called. I'ma shut up. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments.
Creating emotional immaturity, it's absentee fathers, it's unchecked egos, it's the culture that tells boys they're entitled to praise but not responsible for repair. If men are out here lacking empathy,
what? Where do you see guys getting praise? Where do you see boys getting praise? Where's this praise you talking about? If anyone of y'all watching this see the praise that she's talking about, please enlighten me on the praise for what? Because of what you talk about, situations where guys found out that the woman is cheating and he did something elaborate to make her look dumb. Because I wouldn't see that as praise. She got caught. But I don't know. Maybe you believe because it's but better or worse, or everything should. I don't know. It's just a slippery slope when you start saying shit like that and it don't make sense to me. Continues not to make sense.
unable to commit, emotionally unavailable. Maybe it's not because they were raised by single women, but because they didn't see any man model what love, consistency, or partnership should actually look like. Let's stop blaming the people who stayed. You can't abandon your child and then point fingers at the person who raised him. You can't disappear and then complain about the results from the sidelines. Being raised by a single mom doesn't make a man broken. Blaming women for your emotional shortcomings does. So if this generation...
So now it's based on emotion is what you're saying. So now they left because of emotion is what you're saying. Like, that don't make sense, ma'am. You have to see all of the situations before you saying it. You got to see all of the situations before you saying it. You're just speaking from whatever divorce court side you're talking about. And it's probably not even that, because if they're going through divorce court, they're probably doing it. Matter of fact, I'm going to shut up because I don't know. I just want to know where you getting this stuff, because I feel like it's biased. I really do.
Of men is struggling with maturity, connection, or responsibility, maybe the question shouldn't be, where were their mothers? Maybe it should be, where were their fathers? Single moms weren't the problem. They were the parachute after the father jumped.
Right. Whatever you say, you're talking about goddamn teenagers. And I really don't feel like you should be allowed to be teaching anybody, or I think, you're a divorce lawyer. I personally would never pick you to be mine. If I ever, no. And I never plan on getting divorced or none of that, but that's neither here nor there. But it's like, what? Are you sure that you allowed to be teaching people this? I don't know. Tell me what y'all think. I'm not even a lawyer, and I see the flaw in this. I feel like I could win a case against them, but let's not talk about that.